Hello again from Cairo. Today is the 2nd of June, 2018. And in this video, which is a continuation of the first one, the lost books of Hermes, I will expound, explain, and show you the actual manuscripts. So we can start with pictures of the National Library of Egypt, which is on the Boulevard Nil Corniche, very close to the river and very close to the Hotel Conrad. So let me share the screen with you. Okay. Maybe first we can see how looks the sky today at this moment. So let's see here in Placidus. All right. It seems Regulus is just right on the horizon of Cairo. Looks good, looks good. Okay, now, this here is the Dar Kutub, or translated, this means something like the house of the books. Okay, the section with the manuscripts is on the 4th floor. And now I'll show you view towards the south. Okay, here you see here, this corner here is from Dar Kutub, and this here is the Hotel Conrad. You see here written Conrad. Okay, and this small building here between is again a part of the National Library, but it contains archives. So if you come here, you wanna go here on the 4th floor. You leave your passport downstairs and you do whatever you want. Well, not actually, because if you want to copy manuscripts, maybe even if you want to see them, they will want you to prove that you are a scholar. So a letter from a professor from institution, university, institute, a research center, or if you are independent like me, then you have to prove. So I showed them my book, and they were luckily quite impressed and allowed me to look at the manuscripts and copy them. So I'll show you my book now. That's it here. It is academic publication distributed by Eisenbrauns. You can find it in Amazon too, or in Eisenbrauns. So it is publication of this academic series, State Archives of Assyrian Studies, and the project director is Simo Parpula, Professor Simo Parpula, who is one of the best. According to me, he is the best of the best in the field of Assyriology. So if you want this book, you can order it from Eisenbrauns. Maybe I can show you. Okay, let's see here. Eyes in bronze. Eyes in bronze. Eyes in bronze. Babylonian astrolabe. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the book. You see here. Okay. So now let's go back. I believe, I believe that what you want to see is the actual manuscript, okay? But let's first look at, we'll look first at the catalog, because they have a catalog of all manuscripts dedicated to astronomy and astrology. It is a huge volume. It is around, let's check, how many pages is this? Okay, it comes in two parts. In the first part, I think it is like different topics, the organization and this and that. And the second part, which I copied partly, they allow you to copy not more than 100 pages of a book per day. But they don't allow you to copy manuscripts, you know. They may allow you to copy manuscripts if, again, you prove that you're a scholar. And second, they will allow you to copy only few pages from here and there. You know, and if you are lucky, maybe I was lucky. So if you're lucky, then they may allow you to copy one whole manuscript. So they allowed me to copy one whole codex. A codex is okay. A codex is several manuscripts bound together in a book. So they allowed me to copy a whole codex, which is a big deal. And this codex contains two manuscripts attributed to Hermes, and another manuscript in between them, which I have not inspected yet. So this is very good. Okay, so I guess you want to see the manuscripts. Okay, inshallah you'll see them, God willing. Okay, now, but let's first show you the catalog. The catalog is 1,200 pages, only with descriptions of the manuscripts on astronomy and astrology. And the descriptions are like, for one manuscript you may have half a page or a whole page. There it will start with the title, with the author, then the beginning of the manuscript, then the titles of the chapters, and in the end how the manuscript ends. You'll see. So the whole the whole catalog is in Arabic, only in Arabic. and only the content, few pages with the content is in English. I'll show you now. Okay, let's again share the screen. Okay, now let's see, where were they? Okay, no. Okay, that's it here. All right. This is the first page. It is published in 1986. Down here, you see, these are the Arabic numbers. Okay. Now let's go down. Okay. It is divided in 5 sections. You see here, this is the first section here. This is the second section, the third one, and so on. Okay, what we are interested in is this fifth section. It is dedicated to astrology. Okay, this is the the English description of the chapters in this catalog. It is compiled by David King. It is published in Cairo. Okay, so you see here. Do you see? Okay, this is our section. I went through the first section, this one here, about the Hermetic material and translations. So it's, as you see here, it is like 178 pages, almost 180 pages, 180 pages. Only for the astrological manuscripts. In this library, I believe they must have thousands and thousands. Maybe, if I remember right, maybe 50,000 manuscripts. Another place to look for manuscripts is in the Azhar, mosque, where they have quite a number, too. I have not been there yet. I plan to go, inshallah. So now let's go down here. Okay. So these 3 pages are in English, the description only of the section, of the sections, and everything else is only in Arabic. So, okay, this here is the content of the 5th section, dedicated to astrology. So, this here is Al-Talif fi ilm ihkam an-nugum, which translated is works, at-talif, works, in fi, the science, ilm, ahkam, of the judgment of the stars. An-nugum, the last word means stars in plural. So in Arabic, how do you say astrology? Like you can say, for example, ilm al-falak, which is the knowledge of the sky. Or you can say ilm al-nugum, the knowledge of the stars. However, they may misunderstand you, because this term is also applied to astronomy. But if you say ilm ahkam, in Egypt they will pronounce this ilm ahkam. The alif, they read it not a, like in Fusca. Fusca is the standard modern Arabic, which is on the TV, and presidents make their speeches in Fusca. Fusca means pure. So Fusca is quite different from the spoken Arabic. They have in every country they have their own spoken Arabic, which can be somewhat maybe very, very different from the classical Arabic, but still very, very close. So they have like three major areas of spoken Arabic, like from Egypt to Syria. It's quite similar with one another. Then you have Iraq, which is a different story. And on the west, you have Maghrib, the west, west of Egypt. And the Egyptians tell me that they don't understand a single word from this Arabic. I think they overestimate this, because even I can understand something from Algerian or Moroccan or this, but they are very, very different. So okay, let's go now back. This here, the first section which I went through, this one here. I think it's around 40 pages. And as you see here, it contains works. Okay, here it goes at-talif, mansuba ila Hermes. Works attributed to Hermes. Here is Hermes. Remember this. This is how they write Hermes. They pronounce it Hermes. Okay. Wa and Daniel, which is the prophet Daniel from the Old Testament. You know, everybody knows him, or almost everybody. So there is, I discovered here quite interesting separate tradition coming attributed to the prophet Daniel on astrology. Okay. Okay. Wanugmat, Aramal, Aryunani. Okay. Okay, they have missed here the dot. Waterjumet and translations. of works. Unani, Greek, or Sasanian here, Sasanian, which is Middle Persian, wa al-Hindi, which is the language in India. What live and works attributed to them. Okay. So now we'll go to the actual section, to the actual descriptions of the manuscript. So here it starts, the first page of the actual description. So here is, okay, so here, this here states that these are works related to Hermes and Daniel. And here is the first, the title of the first manuscript, this here. Okay. So this is the actual title. Ka here stays for Kitab, book. Kitab Asir al-Badiya Anwar, which means a book of the amazing bright secret. This is actually the first manuscript in the codex that I was able to copy. They have different things here, a little bit of magic. Also, they have description of the planets. Okay, here, okay, here is the beginning. This here is the beginning of the manuscript. Every description has the beginning, like several rows, and the end. So this here is the beginning. Okay, Kala Hermes al-Kabir. Hermes the Great said, and so on. So here then, after that, is a description of the chapters. And on the right are the pages in the manuscript. This 6, the means, no, this is actually 2. 2, the. This is the second page, verso. Verso is the back of the page, and here wa is the what they call recto, or the front of the page of the manuscript, where these chapters start. So in the end here, we have here the end of the manuscript. This here is description of the end. And in the very end is the number of the manuscript and where it is kept. So our manuscript, which I copied, is this one here, 1156, and it is kept in these 2 letters, which are Del and Mim, means Dar Mikat, which is section of the section on the manuscript. So Dar Mikat translated is something like the house of astronomy. And here in the brackets, we have the pages. from which one to which one is this manuscript in the codex. So this here is from the first page. You see here first to the 33. First recto, 33 verso. And this here shows the year in Hijra, the Arabic year, in which they suppose this manuscript dates. So here it stays, okay, it states here, you see, this here, ha stays for Hijra. This means the year when the Prophet and his companions went from Mecca to Medina, and this is this happened somewhere in 627, I believe, or something around there. And this here is the year after Hijrah. So this is here 800. So it's in the 15th century written, the manuscript. It is of course not written in the 15th century. It was copied from all the manuscripts. And this is the pattern that follow all manuscripts. First is the title, then is the beginning. Here you see the beginning is quite big here. Then follow the chapters, then the end, and then the number of the manuscript and where it is kept, the pages, and from each year it dates. So as I see here, this manuscript is quite early. Well, actually not so early. Okay. Okay. So here, this is a manuscript that I don't have. But the interesting thing about this is that in the beginning, they talk here about the three Hermeses: the first, the second, and the third. So in short, what they say here is that between Adam, the first man God created, and the first Hermes, there were 1,000 years. Also, they say that Adam was created in the era of the sun and the sub-period of the sun. So actually, they divide the historical time in periods under each of the planets. They start with the sun, and then they go down of the order of the celestial sphere. So after the sun comes Venus, then Mercury, then Moon, then again they jump on the most distant sphere, Saturn, then Jupiter, Mars, Sun again. So the period dedicated to the sun is subdivided in 7 parts. The first part belongs to the sun. Again, like one of the principles of ancient astrology, and actually of astrology, is that the beginning The beginning is the quintessence of the whole thing. The beginning reveals, shows the whole thing, the whole period. That's why the period of the sun starts with the sub-period under the sun. The period of Venus starts with a sub-period dedicated to Venus, and so on. So they say here that Adam was created in the first period, which belongs to the sun, in its first sub-period again to the sun. Then they say that the first Hermes, who lived 1,000 years after Adam, was in the second sub-period, which belongs to Venus. And then they say that the second Hermes lived in the third sub-period, which belongs to Mercury. You know, that's why the association between Mercury and Hermes. And this second Hermes, they also give his name, which is here, the Wani. The Wani, وتفسير دواني نخلص البشر. And they explain the meaning of his name, the Wani the Chaldean. He is here Ibn al-Kaldanin, son of the Chaldean, of the Chaldeans. The Wani, and the explanation of the name the Wani, they say, means the savior of mankind. The savior of mankind. Okay. This is very, very interesting. Here, in some other places, in the beginnings of the manuscripts, they identify Hermes with Idris. Idris, I-D-R-I-S. Idris, in the Islamic tradition, is a prophet of God. One of the many, many prophets. You know, on the same level as Muhammad, Jesus, and everyone, each one of all other prophets. So Hermes, in the Islamic tradition, is viewed as a prophet of God. And this is not a small thing. You know, I believe that this is the only religion where astrology is respected as a divine science. So, of course, only God knows everything. So the astrologers only interpret science. You know, they don't know the future, 100%. You know, it is. This is the story here. Even in the Quran, the holy book of Islam, there is one place. Maybe I will find it and show it next time, inshallah. So there is one place where in the Quran, Allah, God tells Muhammad through the archangel Gabriel. Gabriel is the messenger who conveys what God has to say to the prophet. So in one place, God, through Archangel Gabriel, tells Muhammad, the Prophet, that the stars, the constellations, the manzils, the lunar stations are put on the sky for the man, for the mankind to watch them. Okay, let's go back to the manuscripts. Now, this here is the manuscript that we discussed, and the place Dharmikat, where it is kept. Again, let's go to the next. Actually, the next is this here. And luckily, this is the one of the manuscripts in the codex that I copied, that I was allowed to copy. Okay, so here, this is Kitab fi al-Hawadis Samawiyah. Hawadis, the phenomena Samawiyah of the sky. Min Kalem Daniel or Hermes. From the talk of Daniel the prophet and Hermes. And then here is something very, very interesting. It is says here, okay, let me, maybe in the next page it will be better. No, it's here only. Okay. So, wa the al-Qarnin. Wa the al-Qarnin. So this here is, and the one with the two horns. Somebody with two horns. So who is this? This is not the devil. This is Alexander the Great. Yes, Alexander the Great. So obviously there are words attributed to Alexander the Great. As you know, he was a student of Aristotle, and he must have known something from Aristotle, and Aristotle from Plato, Plato from Hermes, and so on. And also here, Wa Bam. Who is Bam? I don't know who is this guy. But this here, this manuscript, which I think is very, very important. As I told you in the previous video, this manuscript contains material which is very similar to the Babylonian astrology. Because as the title says, this is interpretation of the celestial phenomena, the phenomena on the sky, everything, and in the atmosphere, the omina, the celestial events, and this way is to be found only in Mesopotamia. You know, the later tradition gets more and more theoretical. You know, they stop looking at the sky, and instead they look at tables of the positions of the planets. And now they're looking at computer programs, which don't show the sky. Actually, they show only the ecliptic and the projections of the planets on the ecliptic. One dimension, one-dimensional results. The ancient astrology was at least in 3 dimensions. The whole sky, everything which is happening on the sky, in the atmosphere, on the earth, everything has meaning and is connected. Tawhid al-wujud, unity of the universe, unity of the existence. This is one of the principles in every mysticism, that everything is in unity at every moment. Okay, so so we have here that the material here is actually attributed to the prophet Daniel, Hermes, Alexander the Great, and another person, Baam, his first name. So, okay, here in the beginning of Awarhu, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, the first is just in the name of God, the merciful, and so on. Okay, and here actually starts Minkelem, Daniel, Hermes. Here they repeat. Al-Hakim, Wadi al-Karnin. Okay, here is this guy that I don't know who is he. Baam ben Baur. Well, we'll figure out. Okay, Fi al-Hawades Samawiya. Okay, here, then they say the topic of this manuscript. First, Hawades Samawiya, which means the phenomena of the sky. Then you see here, this here. Kalarat, which means thunder. Wabak, which means lightning. Wal Kawakib, and the stars. Wal Halet. Wa al Halet. This here means the hollows. You know, these circles around the sun and the moon, the hollows. And then this here. Al Kusufet, the eclipses. Okay, and the newborns, and domestic animals, Ashakel. It means also sheep, and maybe all domestic animals, وغير ذلك, and so on. مرتبط على شهور الروم. مرتبط على شهور الروم means ordered by the Roman months. However, this turned out not to be the Roman months. This turned out to be the Babylonian calendar. The Jewish calendar. The names of the months here are the names of the Jewish calendar. But the Jewish calendar is a variation, very, very small differences of the Babylonian calendar. As I told you, this was a lunisolar calendar. It started with the first lunar crescent visible to the naked eye after the spring equinox. This was the first of Nisan, the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year, the beginning of the first month, Nisan, started when you see the lunar crescent around the sunset, the first lunar crescent after the spring equinox. So, for all practical purposes, the Jewish and the Babylonian calendar are the same. The Sumerian calendar, as I told you, was a little bit different because they looked at the lunar crescent just before the spring equinox. This for them was the start of the year, for the Sumerians. The Sumerians were like from 5,500 BC until somewhere 2,500 BC, 2000 BC. Then the Akkadians came to prominence and to power from 2000 BC. The Akkadians, also the Babylonians, or the Babylonians. The Babylonians are actually the Akkadians. Okay, so now so here the first chapter here is dedicated to the solar eclipses. Kusuf Shams. The second is let's see. It's about the eclipses of the moon. Okay, the third is about the hollows and so on. It goes. I will give more details in my special video, which will contain a lot of material for my findings here in Egypt. And this will be paid video. You know, if you order it, your money will go towards this project. So anyone who wants to order it may contact me on my email. That's it here. So it will cost $200. And I will send him or her this special video, which will be very, very detailed, much more detailed than what you see now. And as I said, you know, the money that comes from this will go for the project, the Lost Books of Hermes. Okay, let's continue here. So this is actually this manuscripts that I just show you here, the description of. Look how many chapters are here. And as I told you, all these celestial phenomena, they are interpreted by month, by the Babylonian month in which they happen. It is the same also in Babylonian astrology. So now, okay, let's go here a little bit down. Okay, now you see here 1156. This is the manuscripts that I have a copy of from Dar Mikat, and this is, I believe, this is maybe the most important manuscript by Hermes, attributed to Hermes, because here the celestial phenomena that are treated are the same celestial phenomena that were observed and interpreted in Babylonia. You know, in the later traditions, Greek, Roman, Arab, and so on, there is no such thing. You know, nobody, no one interpreted a lightning or a thunder or an earthquake happening in the Babylonian months. So the doctrine, the doctrine here is the same as in Babylon. Another question is whether the details, for example, they, as I told you, they interpret solar eclipse by the Babylonian month, and also whether it happens in the beginning of the day, the middle, or the end of the day. The same as in Babylonia, like 2000 BC. This was the way they interpreted eclipses, by the Babylonian month and by the watch, the first, second, or third watch of the day when the eclipse happens. But here is the same. But whether the details, for example, eclipse happens in the month of Nisan, the first month, in the first watch, in the morning. What does this mean? Okay, whether the details of the interpretations are the same remains to be seen. Okay, now, okay, this goes on and on. You see, then follow other manuscripts here, their descriptions and so on. Okay, as I told you, in this codex there is another manuscript attributed to Hermes, which is in the codex that I copied. We will not go through it now. Probably in this special video I'll go in details through it. But now, okay. Now you'll see the actual codex, the actual manuscript that I'm talking about. Okay. Let's see where it is. We'll find it. You see this here, 1156. Okay. Okay, this here is the first page of the codex. Here is written actually the title of the first manuscript included here. We went through it in the catalog. Asir al-Badia Anwar. The secret of the most luminous, mind-blowing, the most luminous, mind-blowing secret. Min Kalem Hermes here. From the talk of Hermes al-Kabir, the Great. Okay, now let's go to the next page. This is the beginning of the manuscript. The first manuscript in the codex, which, as I told you, I have not seen through. And now I will show you the manuscript, the most important manuscripts. Okay, which talks about the celestial phenomena. It starts on page 46b. Okay. (46b). That's here. All right. That's it here. This is the beginning. Oh, I can. You see this? I want to move this somewhere. Okay. Okay, here you see it starts with the standard formula here, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, in the name of God, the most merciful. And then it starts here actually the actual work, Min Kalem, Daniel. From the talk of Daniel wa Hermes, al-Hakim, the wise, Hermes the wise. Wazi al-Karnin, and the one with the two horns, Alexander the Great. Actually, don't misunderstand this. Alexander the Great, with his two horns. His two horns were signs of divinity, not signs of the devil or of something evil. No, just the opposite. The horns of Alexander the Great were actually the horns of the ram, which was the symbol of the sun god. He was considered, Alexander the Great was considered to be a son of the sun god. And because in this epoch the spring equinox was in Aries, the sun god, one of his symbols was the ram, Aries. and the horns of Ares. So you can still see in ancient coins minted by Alexander the Great. I'll show you now. I'll show you. They depict him in these coins with horns. Let's see. Somewhere where you can see clearly the horns of Alexander the Great. You see them? Here, I got it. Look at this here. This is horn of a ram. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to the manuscript. Do you hear the call for prayer? It is a prayer time now. Okay. Then these are the chapters here. And here it starts with explanation. It starts here, actually, right here. Here is written, if the solar eclipse is in the beginning of the rise, they mean the sunrise. Here they mean actually the first watch, in the beginning of the day. This here, this word here, taluaha, means her rise. Ha. Why her? Because Shams, the sun in Arabic, is feminine. And Talu means appearance, rise. So I remember here the one translation by Abraham Sachs from cuneiform, where there were interpretations of the planets in different places. And Abraham Sachs wrote, so there was, in this text, it went as follows. Okay, if Jupiter is in the Talu, so it will be the child who is born. When Jupiter is in his Talu, means this and that. When Saturn is in his Talu, if a child is born, this means this and that. So Abraham Sachs wrote there that he does not have a clue, that he does not know what Talu means. So he didn't translate Talu, he didn't know how to translate it, Talo in Akkadian. He just left it as it is in Akkadian, Talo. Okay, and I believe he knew Arabic. You know, I am almost certain that Abraham Sachs must have known Arabic, and it is because Arabic and Akkadian are actually languages in the same family. They're like German and English, like Russian and Bulgarian, you know, like Spanish and Italian. So they are in the same family. So it is obvious that the word Talu in Akkadian is almost certainly the same as the word talua in Arabic, which means appearance, rise. Whether this rise, this appearance means the heliacal rise of a planet or the rise of the planet on the horizon is another question. But it must mean one of these two. So, you know, many times they say that Babylonian astrology did not have a horoscope, which means ascendant. This, which means that you know, the mainstream scholars, they will say, okay, the mainstream scholars, they will say, okay, look, in Babylonian astrology, it is not a horoscopic astrology. Why? Because there is no ascendant there, right? No ascendant, no astrology. However, they are very wrong, because it is inconceivable that for the way of perception of the Babylonians, this way of perception was that the whole sky is an image of the very moment, and each moment there is another sky, right? And in each moment there are something which is happening, something which is being born, and all this is connected. So it is very clear that for the Babylonians, the whole sky was important. And if a child was born when Jupiter was rising, imagine a child is being born in Babylon and you see Jupiter just above the horizon. What do you think? Will this have not meaning for them? No way, no way. Of course, the Babylonian astrology took in account the spatial positions of the planets and the stars. This is without doubt for me. The so-called houses in modern astrology, I am absolutely certain that they had such houses in Babylonian astrology too. And there is one text in cuneiform which I have translated in my book, where actually you can compute the ascendant, the degree of the zodiac rising on the eastern horizon. You can compute this with the help of this cuneiform text, which is some kind like a table of houses, and which I believe is coming at least the 5th century BC. So I'll share the screen again. So you can, let me show you again. I think it is in this book here that I showed you. In one of the cuneiform texts, which let me see, maybe I can try to find it. Let's see where it is. Yeah, I'll show you. Okay. This is actually the text here. The cuneiform text that I translate in my book. Okay, this is the transliteration. This is the translation in English. It actually concerns with the interpretation of eclipses, of solar eclipses, in the different months and the different times of in the different watches. So you see here, if in Nisan in the morning happens eclipse, this means devastation of the land, scattering of the people. And now I'll show you the reverse of the tablet. So here actually it is explained. For example, here, look here. Okay. If the 1 degree and 40 minutes after the shoulder of Cygnus culminates, this is a star from the constellation. Okay. So they say here, if in the culmination, if the MC, the culmination point, is 1 degree and 40 minutes after the star in the shoulder of Cygnus, look here, the seventh dodecatemorion of Aries is ascendant. Dodecatemorion, this is like they divided each sign, in each zodiacal sign they divided in 12. Like, you know, the whole zodiac has 12 signs, so they divided each sign in 12 parts. This is another principle of ancient astrology. And this is, okay, it is like 2.5 degrees. So this means that this is the first table of houses actually. So what are we talking about? You know, they could compute the exact rising degree, 5th century BC in Babylon. Okay, enough of this. Now let's go back to the manuscript. So, okay, what is written here? So, if the eclipse of the sun happens in the beginning of his rise, and here is in Nisan, you see here, Fi Nisan. Okay? Then this means Del, this means this shows okay, Ukua, the falling of the land, of the falling of the lands, the countries, in some cities of the east, which is very close to the mind, right? The eclipse happens when the sun is in the east, so some towns, some countries on the east will fall to an invader. And then it continues. Okay, wa ala halak al galat, which means destruction of the yields, destruction of the agricultural products. And then it continues that there will be ruin of the people. Okay, what's it? Okay, ruin, destruction of the people and of the how was called this vantage, this plant tree which produces grapes, yeah, of the grapes also. Shamul. So, and also in the end he says there will be pest, contagious diseases, pest. So this is the interpretation if a solar eclipse happens in the first month, Nisan, in the first watch. This is very, very serious, you know, because the beginning, as I told you, is the quintessence of the whole. So if solar eclipse happens in the very beginning of the year, this is quite a serious stuff. You know, that's why here we have falling of cities in the eastern part. We have destruction of the yields of the agricultural products. We have empty vantages, which are, this is exactly a literal translation of this, empty fields of vines. So we have also pestilence, we have scattering and ruin, scattering like and this here, this word here, sucked. Sucked means falling. Sucked means falling, means also scattering. And ruin, halak, calm of the people. So actually this is quite close to the interpretation of if not the same, but almost the same as the interpretation of the same phenomena according to the cuneiform text. Maybe we can go again to this place. Okay, here. If the solar eclipse, if in Nisan, this here in the morning, then this here is something like a formula, which means a solar eclipse. If you want to know more, you can get this book and read it. So solar eclipse in Nisan in the morning means, look here, devastation of the land, scattering of the people. Well, So now, what else? What else? Maybe I can show you really quick, because this video became much longer than my intention was. So maybe in the end, let me show you really quick something. Okay, first I will show you. I told you in the first video about Fuatzisgin. Here, Fuatzisgin, Geschichte des arabischen Schriftums. So this is the book by the scholar Fuatzisgin, where he described different manuscripts dedicated to science in Arabic. Okay, published in 1979. So now here he has a section. Okay, you see Dorotheus, Antiochus, Wallis, which is Valens, Ptolemeus, and Hermes. Hermes is here. Okay, so we go the description of the Arabic manuscripts dedicated, attributed to Hermes in the book of Fuatzisgin, and here we have them. Okay. Now here follow. Okay, where was this? Let me see. Okay, I want to show you what he wrote about. Oh, what's happening here? Okay, here he starts with the description of the manuscripts. Okay, here is, for example, the first one here, number 1, and he says where, in which libraries you can find this. He gives some description of the manuscript. Okay, this is quite long for the first one. So here he okay. I don't know where he, okay, let's take another manuscript. For example, the second one, this one here. Okay. He gives the name in Arabic transliteration. Okay, then translation. Über astrologische Urteile, welche sich an der Aufgang des Sirius knüpfen. Okay. For example, the second manuscript that Fuatzisgin describes, the title is on the astrological judgment which are related to the heliacal rise of Sirius. The heliacal rise of Sirius happens, you know, every year. Some in Bulgaria, this happens somewhere towards the 18th of August. And in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, this was the beginning of the Holy Year, when for the first time Sirius is to be seen by the naked eye just before the rise of the sun. So this is the heliacal rise. So here he writes in which places there are copies of this particular manuscript. For example, Hagia Sophia 2684. This is in Turkey, in Istanbul. These are from page to page, okay? Then Damascus, okay, Syria, again. This is the manuscript in Damascus in Zahiria, some kind of library. Then in Tehran, Majlis, so on. And here you see Cairo, Dar Mikat 132, from the first page to the 22nd. So when I went through this, I went through all this. He writes about the manuscripts dedicated, attributed to Hermes. He enumerates here, I'll show you how many manuscripts, okay? 32, I think. Let me see. 31. 31. So I went through all of them, and I saw that he gives for Egypt only 2 manuscripts and 1 published in a book which I could not find. So actually his information is not quite correct, because the manuscripts dedicated, attributed to Hermes, are actually much more. As I told you, I have found around 14 of them. 14. In only in the Egyptian National Library. So again, let me see whether I have here something more to tell you. Yes, why not make this video longer? Okay, who cares? So let me show you another manuscript which I ordered from the library, from the French library, from the National French Library in Paris. Okay, and this is this is a huge manuscript. I think it is more than 200 pages, and it is in Arabic. This is called the Book of Hermes on the spiritualities, Ruhaniya, or the Doctrine of Hermes on the Spiritual World, which is very interesting. In the first video, I talked about one doctrine of Hermes, which is to be found here. Actually, in this manuscript, there are many doctrines. Actually, if you know about my seminar with Lada, astrology.com, I made with Lada a seminar dedicated to the spirit animals, which and how we can see them from a chart. And this is a doctrine by Hermes, which I found in this manuscript here. One of many doctrines. So to repeat a little bit, it is each planet has 7 animals, and according to the position of the planet in a given chart, the planet can give one or more of its animals, like spirits who enter into the soul of the newborn with the first breath, and stay there until the death. So four of these animals have their counterparts on the earth, and 3 are divine. So when somebody is born, he or she may have all the animals of all planets, or only some of them, or nothing at all. It all depends on the position of the planets in the chart. And this doctrine is in this manuscript, and I have expounded it in my seminar with Lada, Ancient Astrology 103. So here, okay, let's look at this manuscript. Here is written, Kitab al-Ustutas. Ustutas is something that nobody knows what exactly this means. This may be some word from Greek. Who knows? But then the other titles here say that this is the teaching of Hermes on the spiritualities. So here he connects the spiritual world with astrology and with the material world. Everything is in union. So in the first video, I gave you only example with one of the doctrines of the teachings of Hermes in this manuscript. And now I will show you exactly the place where it is. Okay, here it is. You remember what I told you? That here is described that each planet is connected with a spirit, with a feeling, with a faculty, and with a place in the body, in the organ. So do you remember what I told you about the sun? Okay, here it goes. Okay. Kala means he said. This means Hermes. Hermes said. Fa, Rauhania, al-Aql wa al-Fahm. And the spirit of the understanding and intellectual perception. You know, Akal means mind, intelligence, and Fahm means understanding. Tasama, the Taurus, named the Taurus. So here, this is the name of this spirit, the Taurus, which is probably really points to a Greek origin because it ends in os, like the Greek names. Well, here Ashams, and she is the sun, because as I told you, the sun in Arabic is feminine. So here he says the spirit. We can translate this also as the faculty. Okay, the spirit, the faculty, the power of intellectual perception and understanding, which is named the Taurus, and this is the sun. وَمَكَانْهَا فِي الْدَمَعْ, and its place is in the brain, Okay. وَلَهَا صَبَاحٌ Tagri Faharauhaniyat. Okay, and there are 7 veins which which run where the spirit runs, and its power is related to all the body, and it is accepted in all the body. So this means what is stated here as that there are 7 veins, we call them nerves, which come out of the brain around through the whole body, so that the spirit of the sun can go through the whole body, and the whole body accepts this spirit. So then he goes for the moon, wa Rauhaniya and Nafs Nisim. In the first video, I talked a lot about this term here, Nafs and Nisim, which is a part of our personality, which in Arabic they call the breathing soul. Nafs means ego, soul. In Arabic, this is also means self. Like nafsu means himself. Nafsi means myself. So nafs means self, ego. Also, this word nafs is very, very connected with the breathing, because the root nafasa, if one of the verbs which are built on this root, itnafis means to breathe. So this whole conception of this, of the personality of the soul, expressed with this particular word in Arabic, nafs, is very, very related, connected to the breathing. To breathe, itnafis, and breath is tinafis. So nafs and nisim can be translated as the breathing soul or the breathing ego. In Sufism, they have seven different nafs. Like the first nafs is the blaming nafs. Actually, it is in their spiritual journey, the Sufis must go through 7 stages, and there is a nafs, a personality, which corresponds to each of these stages. So the first stage is the blaming nafs. This is actually nafs which is very bad. It is full of anger, of hatred, of jealousy, and this nafs must be transformed in a better nafs. So then this becomes the nafs which has repented, then the nafs which is illuminated, and then on the 4th stage is the nafs at rest, which corresponds to maybe the 3rd stage of or the 4th stage of nirvana in Buddhism. This is a very long topic, Actually, these seven stages of the travel of the Sufi towards perfection, they correspond to seven different personalities, seven different nafs, and these correspond to the planets, and also to seven of the prophets. So this is another topic. We will not go to this now. It will become too long. Okay, I just want to tell you that, as I told you, Hermes is illuminating. He says things that nobody else says. And what he says, when you think a little bit about it, it is so illuminating and so mind-blowing, and it makes everything comes together. Everything that we know from different fields. Because when I read this, you know that the sun is connected with the brain, and then I said, my God, this is so simple and so true, because I am interested also in herbs, in healing with plants, herbal medicine, and I know that herbs which are yellow work on the brain. So they are used for depression. And when I read this, then I immediately knew that this is so correct, because actually these herbs which are under the sun, which are orange and which are yellow and deep yellow, they work on the brain, and the brain is under the sun too, according to Hermes here. So everything came together. So I can talk a lot more, but let's finish now. And in the end, I want to tell you that I have two seminars this year, 2018, in July, from the 3rd to the 8th of July in Varna, Bulgaria. I have one seminar. I'll show you now. You can find description on my page, babylonianastrology.com. It is from the 3rd to the 8th of July 2018 in Varna, Bulgaria. You can find all necessary information on my web, and also you can email me at this address here, Rumen_K_Kolev@yahoo.com. So I have another seminar which you can find description in the clearretreats.com. Okay, it will be from the 3rd of September until the 10th of September 2018. You can contact Karen. You can find her on this page, more information. Let's show you how you can. Why it's not working here? Okay, that's here. That's here how you can contact Karen, the person who organizes this seminar here. And okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, I hope also that I may make more videos free for everybody to watch. If you want to know more, if you want to order my books, my video courses, you can contact me. I told you that I have also made so far 3 webinars with Lada. You can find them on astrology.com. So good luck.